The beautiful Catherine Britt there, drive-in movie. Oh, she could sing you to sleep too, couldn't she?
Oh, most of these girls on here could sing me to sleep.
Oh, they'd want to too, wouldn't they?
Indeed, indeed. Now, I noticed that we're going to be speaking to Chris E. Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know a lot about Chris, but one of the things I saw here was that she's got a new song out called Stone Cold. Now, our kids grew up as wrestling fans. They used to watch it, and there was Stone Cold Steve Austin. So I can only assume that Chris E. Thomas is a wrestling fan.
Chris, you're biting your lip, aren't you? Welcome, everyone. This is to our listeners. This is Chris T. Thomas with us tonight. How you going, Chris?
I'm going good. I've got to say I'm very rarely lost for words, but you've just got me there. Wrestling.
See, this is what he does. He does this to me every week.
I know nothing of wrestling, I'm sorry to say, Big D. I'm not your girl.
I don't know anything about it except my kids go, Stone Cold. Well, that's what they used to do many, many years ago, and I wouldn't know what a Stone Cold is. But anyway, there it is. There's Robbie
Stone
Bob
Cold
would.
sobering, as we know, we're familiar with that one, and if something is, Stone Cold sobering, it's a fact that wakes you up, I guess. It's sobering, when you wake up and you go, oh, God, I didn't wake that up before.
What happened there? Yeah.
Yeah, one of them.
Yeah,
So
the bird flew in the window.
This is the second single.
From the album?
Yeah, how's the album going?
Oh, well, I'm very happy with it, actually. I have to say, releasing it in January and promoting it, so we're 6 months down the track, as much as I like it, and I'm still not finished with it, there's still more singles to come, I've actually been in a new headspace of writing new stuff. I've actually down tools for a second, and I'm already on the next project. So when I go back to talking about it, I've got to remember what I actually put on it, because I've been doing new things. So.
We're talking about the previous album right now, and you just mentioned then, because we've only got the second single, so there's more singles coming off. We're finding more and more of this coming at the moment with singles. How about videos? Are we looking at doing some videos?
Absolutely. Well, of course, the first single, which was Workin', had film clips released at the same time. I had a bit of a hiccup with some wardrobe garments that I particularly wanted for the film clip for Stone Cold, because I do my shopping on the eBay like most people.
Yep.
And I just didn't want to compromise, so I'm a little bit behind on the film clip, but it's definitely coming.
It's on its way. See, that's the thing now. It's a whole production, isn't it? You can't just write a song, get out there and sing it, and all of a sudden you're a one-hit wonder. You have to have the videos. You have to have, the film.
One-hit wonder, yeah. I've been doing this for 27 years too, so...
Yeah, it's just so...
Oh, you're an overnight success.
And you would know...
That's me. Yeah.
But you would know the difference from when you first started to now. No such thing as, we need to get a film clip.
Oh, absolutely. And mind you, the budgets for these things, it's not just expensive enough to go and make the album. Then you keep adding to that. As an independent, of course, it's quite, it's like having a yacht. Your hand is in your pocket all the time.
Oh, you're not wrong there.
Yeah.
You say you've been 27 years, always influenced in country music, Chris?
No, that was early childhood. I grew up in Tasmania. And I come from the same area as Jean Stafford, Gina Timms. I don't know whether you know those girls.
No, Jean Stafford, yeah, of course. Jean Stafford, a huge hit in the 70s and 80s around southeast Queensland.
That's right. And so I remember the day that I saw the newspaper. I was a wee tacker, and Jean Stafford had come home with her golden guitar, and I was intrigued by that. And there was a teacher at school that used to play in the local country scene, and he invited me along to gig. So I've been gigging since I was 14, doing country. But then, we hit the 80s, and I certainly wanted to travel, and I did many styles to support that so that I could be a full-time working musician. And that's why it's, been 27 years. But when I actually went back to the drawing board and writing songs for myself, it was country flavoured that came out. So it's in there somewhere.
The rock musicians of the 70s and 80s, people like Don Walker, Garth Porter, they're even Mutt Lang from AC/DC doing the AC/DC stuff and doing it now. Shania Twain. Really, you must say that it brings a different influence into your more modern country music, doesn't it?
Well, it does, and look, there's many artists these days doing flavoured albums. So like John Mayer, we noticed, came into the pop scene, who's just released his country album, and it's all the instruments and the sounds of country that you like, from the beautiful lap steels, and then he goes and does a funk album, or moving along, I think we are open for change. Times we have to change. People, we are not just necessarily one thing or have a love for one thing. We like lots of different things, I don't think that we need to be pigeonholing anything anymore. I think it's time to, I think it's been quite door-opening for people, like you say, Mutt Lange, who have produced many different kinds of albums. Lots of artists, who do rock albums, pop albums. Willie Nelson, Sheryl Crow's another one. They all crossed over. They all, why should they be limited to just doing one thing? I think that it's, that's partly why I'm here in this area at the moment, because I wanted to, hang out with some really cool old blues players, and in the mountains up here, this is where they are. So I come up here for like 2 weeks at a time and then go back down to Sydney and work again, and I'm learning a lot from, different people, and I don't think I should curb my learning just because it's not necessarily straight down the line country, I think media people put things in boxes that artists and musicians generally don't.
No, funny that you say that, because we were talking to Craig Woodward a little bit, probably half an hour ago, and he was telling us that when he does his live gigs, he will do from John Denver and then straight up through to some cover songs of like Pink Floyd's, and he'll do everything because but puts his own spin on it, and you sort of go, well, because country isn't country anymore. It's a full. We just call. There's so many genres inside country, and everyone's now bringing it all together. So I can understand where you're coming from and why people are getting a bit cranky out there when people go, that's not country.
Well, they've been saying that for years. I do believe they were saying that about Casey Chambers when she landed on the scene, and Dusty stood up and said, don't you let anyone tell you this girl ain't country, and now look where we are. There's always going to be somebody that doesn't like change. That's the way of life. But it's inevitable. You can count on it. Change will come.
So you're up in the hinterlands at the moment, are you? Up in
in the Northern Rivers. Yeah.
Are you freezing?
Oh.
Yes, it has been freezing. I'm in a little village called the Channon. I'm not sure what the population is. Probably somewhere between 3,000, or with the vicinity out in the hills and so forth. But it's about 20 minutes from Lismore, about 45 from Byron. So, and I have been, meeting fantastic musicians up here and playing and jamming a lot, Greg Lyons from blues band Crossfire, and he, if you're into that sort of thing, he's a legend, and, toured Europe extensively, with all of the blues greats and stuff. So it's really good to be, learning from these guys and learning some of their experience,
Yeah, Greg Lyons gets a run on our blues show here every Wednesday night between 6 and 8 on a regular basis, and a regular at the Broadbeach Blues Fest, of course.
That's right. That's him, yeah. I'm just about to start up some gigs with Greg, and we met at a Bob Dylan tribute down in Byron, and it's going to be good. We've had our first jam the other day, and it's sounding pretty hot. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, listening to your music, and I know that you sound like Chrissy Thomas. That's really what people what you want to hear. But you do have, to me, a very. Are you influenced by Bonnie Raitt?
That's very kind of you to say that.
No, because you do have that. You do have that Bonnie Raitt sort of a thing in your sound.
Yeah, that is just very, very kind, and I'm blushing. Yeah, a few people have said that to me, and I just go, well, if that is the case, then thank you, Jesus.
I'm a bit of a fan of Bonnie Raitt, but that's why when I listen to your music, I think, it's just got that influence there. I can hear, it's not all Bonnie Raitt, it's Chrissy Thomas, but you do have, I can hear that influence in there. It's fantastic.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yep. I'll take that. Can I quote you on that? Put that on my poster.
Yeah.
That's that whole blues feel, isn't it, that you're talking about? And let's face it, the rift between country and blues, it's not there anymore, is it?
No.
No, and all the genres fed off each other. Like the Rolling Stones, took from the Deep South, a lot of their blues stuff, turned it into pop. That's what happens. And music. Look, I used to say, actually, my good friend George Washing Machine, I don't know if you know him, he's a fabulous jazz violinist. And he said to me, Chrissy, there are two types of music in this world, good and bad, and that is it. End of story.
Very
it's
true.
like, you know, yeah, good and bad. You either like it or you don't. And isn't that just, you know, wonderful thing about Grace? You have the power to turn it off if you don't like it, and the person next door has the power to leave it on. So there you go.
Well
That's art.
Chris, we would be absolutely honoured if you would introduce Stone Cold to our listeners now.
Oh, turn it up, people. This is Stone Cold coming at you. Good driving song if you're going in a straight line.